What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 399 of the Hoots Podcast on this Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Happy Kobe Day. That mixed into 8 and 24, obviously. We get to do that multiple times this year. But how's everybody doing? It's been a very interesting week, to say the least, in the wrestling world. I'm doing good. Just focusing on me, focusing on what I need to focus on. As they say, man, the grind is real. And I'm in a very introspective mood this week because guess what, folks? One more episode. We get to episode 400 of the Hoots Podcast. And I spent a lot of the last couple of days really taking a step back and reflecting on the journey that I've been on since we started the show back in 2016, and to think that we got this far, the fact that we will celebrate episode 400 this time next week is very cool. Depending when you're watching or listening to the podcast this week, I just want to say thanks to each and every single one of you for the support. It means a lot to me. The show drops to you free of charge anywhere you get your podcasts from. Just type in the Hoots Podcast, and literally we don't charge you for shit. You can just watch the show for free. But don't forget, we're celebrating episode 400 next Thursday. It's going to be a late night special, probably like around 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time. For those who are watching or listening to this, if you want to send us any audio shout outs or congratulations for episode 400, please send those shout outs in the MP3 form to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com, as you see on the lower screen here. It can be as long as you want. Just make sure you send it to that email so I know to download them, and I'll make a little compilation of it when you guys hear the beginning of the audio version of next week's podcast. But here we are. And it's kind of a little tricky situation for myself to be in right now because, like, how do I make this one stand out more for the rest of everybody's waiting for next week, Next week's going to be a celebration. This week, however, it's probably going to go a route that I wasn't expecting to go or wanted to go to. But given the extreme amount of whining and moaning and, sorry for my language, bitching that I've been overseeing this past week in wrestling, especially on Twitter, I'm not going to pull any punches this week. I am quite embarrassed at the state of where we are as a wrestling fan base and how paranoid we are as a collective fan base. And I think you see the title of this week's episode. It gives you already a hint to where I'm going at with this. I had a chance this past weekend on Saturday night to be a guest on the Good Brother referee Tony's Heat podcast. Make sure to check out the Heat Wrestling podcast. It's very good. Very grateful for Tony always bringing me on sporadically as a guest on his show. And a lot of you that did get a chance to see my appearance on that episode got to see my raw and fresh opinions on this controversy going on with The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. As I'm recording this, is on Thursday, about 3 hours away from this big time press conference that everybody's on pins and needles for in Vegas. Like I said last week, I think having this press conference and the buzz going into it is really good business just on all fronts from WWE. And again, another testament of how smart of a businessman Nick Khan is. But I know a lot of you are waiting to hear what I had to say about the Rock situation and Cody. And am I we want Cody? Am I we want Cody, or am I part of shut up bitches? Or shut your bitch asses up, as The Rock said on Pat McAfee's show today. I'll get to that in a couple minutes. I'll get to that when we do that this week in WWE, and I'll break it down and give you my perspective, because it just seems like hysteria seems to run the joint in professional wrestling. It's like one extreme to another. and there's no nuance, there's no substance to the conversations we're having. I've spent a lot of time this week checking out different video shows and podcasts, and it's just like a lot of us are just talking in circles about this situation. And I know there's a lot of emotional investment tied into Cody Rhodes' story, but us as a collective, as wrestling fans, should be ashamed of ourselves. I'm not going to come on here this week on the podcast and pop a blood vessel and throw 500 different curse bombs and phrases and sequences at you, because I like to remind each and every single one of you that this wrestling stuff is not that deep. It's not life or death. And I think that, again, I get it's WrestleMania season. Everybody's on extra paranoid levels, and people wanted to make it the best WrestleMania of all time. And whether you are a fan of The Rock, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, like I've been saying over the last couple weeks, you're not in a lose-lose situation regardless of what the main events are going to be at night one or night two of WrestleMania. What I want to express this week is that we need to be better as a fan base, and my collective field needs to be better at our craft because we're doing a disservice to all of you wrestling fans, and I'm tired of it. I really am. I have a very low tolerance for BS and nonsense, especially nonsense that has no substance or nuance to it. My passion for professional wrestling runs deep, but I don't look at the industry anymore through the eyes of a fan anymore. And a big part of that reason is because of the daily, and I mean daily, circle jerk nonsense that I had to see through social media every day. And then watching shows that like I do, that I record each and every single week. And it's just I had it up to here with the people who act like they're the smartest person in the room. Guys, I've been doing this stuff for 10 years. I am never going to say that my opinion has more weight than anybody else. I'm not going to come here and proclaim that I'm the king of the IWC for whatever the fuck that means. I'm not attaching a moniker to myself. I'm just strictly myself, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about things. You can agree, disagree, but we need to take a step back and do better as wrestling fans. I didn't want to talk about this part of the controversy when it comes to this week in WWE because I just wanted to keep it strictly with the product and the storylines. But the stuff with you schmucks going out of your way to send death threats at The Rock's daughter, Simone, Ava, the general manager of NXT this week, was appalling. And that shit is not cool. It's just not. I don't care that you're butthurt over the booking decision when it comes to the winner of the Royal Rumble or how the way that went on Friday on SmackDown. To send death threats at a man's daughter because you write on a dirt sheet that The Rock politicked his way to take Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania spot really shows how low value you are as a human being. We're talking about a form of entertainment that's supposed to be a personal escape, and you are so upset over a decision that hasn't been made official as of this recording right now, jumping to every assumption known to man, saying now The Rock's a politician, he's no different than Vince McMahon, especially at this time of the situation. Now we want to make jokes comparing The Rock to Vince McMahon. What are we doing? What are we doing? I thought we were better than this shit. I really did. I thought we were better than this stuff as a wrestling fan base. Because to sit here and see, I've seen literal Stupid remarks thrown at Ava, the general manager for NXT, The Rock's daughter, over the weekend during Vengeance Day, the pay-per-view on Sunday that I covered. This is what wrestling fandom is in 2024. This is what we accept. This is what we tolerate. You know the reason why I don't look back fondly in that whole Daniel Bryan yes movement and how the fans basically forced his way into the main event of WrestleMania, because if for me, I would not enable that type of behavior. I don't enable clowns who think that they can go to wrestling shows and hijack it and ruin the vibe for the other performers on the show, like they were trying to do this past Monday in St. Louis. I don't I don't endorse hijacking. I don't endorse crybaby behavior because I didn't get what I want. The bookie didn't go my way. I don't endorse that. Any of you coming out here saying, "Oh, it's an illogical booking decision," guys, there's nothing concrete with any booking decision. This stuff is not real. It's entertainment. Illogical booking. What does that even mean? This is not Breaking Bad. This is not Sopranos. This is not Game of Thrones. This is pro wrestling. We're watching scripted entertainment with guys busting their ass and putting their body on the line to provide an outlet for us to escape from our regular day nonsense that we have to go through. And we want to have these arguments and pontifications about what makes sense storyline wise, what makes sense booking wise, for people who never booked anything in their goddamn life. Sending death threats at The Rock's daughter because you're upset that he's stealing Cody Rhodes' spot at WrestleMania. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, was Roman Reigns' title the only title viable if Rhodes won the Royal Rumble? Oh, he gave away his Rumble spot. Congratulations to all of us assuming that Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story at WrestleMania. The same people whining and moaning this week about that would be the same people whining and moaning about how predictable it's going to be that Cody Rhodes is going to end Roman Reigns' title run in Philadelphia. None of you want to have these conversations because I need to dish out a take that's going to give me 50 retweets, 275 likes. Maybe I might get 30 followers along the way. Maybe I might get, 12,000 more live viewers on YouTube. Maybe my subscriptions will rise up by coming out with the stupidest takes known to man. Because you are unwilling to watch something that's episodic and letting things play out the way they're supposed to. But no, we're going to make an assumption for the next 5 years of programming on one episode of SmackDown from Birmingham, Alabama. I thought we were better than this when I started in this field 10 years ago. And it's very ironic that next week that we're celebrating 400 episodes of the Hoots Podcast, because the same mentality that was going on when we started the show in 2016 is still going on right now. In fact, it's getting worse and stupider and lame and corny as the days go by. I wouldn't advise somebody to be a wrestling fan these days because you try to say something and you try to have a regular conversation about the business, and then people are going to try to throw arrows at you and make you feel like you're an idiot because, oh, I don't agree with your perspective. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Bobby, yada, yada, yada. Guess what, folks? I've been covering the wrestling industry for 10 years. Do I come on here and tell you that my opinion is better than yours and my opinion is the only thing that matters? Have I ever done that once on this show? Us collectively as content creators, we need to stop acting like we're in the WWE boardrooms because we're not. You might have a friend that might set up the lighting grips, and maybe you have a friend in makeup and catering or whatever, but you're not in that room. You're not in the boardroom of TKO. You don't know what's going on. So stop leading the collective wrestling fans astray by just throwing out nonsense that's not even true. The Rock's a politician now. Cody's getting buried. Oh, Roman's now going to break Bruno Sammartino's record. Watch the show. And even then, let's say The Rock and Roman Reigns is official tonight for the Universal Championship. Every single one of you that have been dying on a hill and practically crying, as The Rock said on the Pat McAfee show today, all of you same people are going to go out of your way to watch WrestleMania still and talk about it. Give a shout out to the good brother Rob Aurelius from ARCG Media. What's going on, my man? For me personally, I've had it up to here with the entitlement and the just stupid arguments that I had to watch and listen to and read through every single week when it comes to the wrestling industry. I'm not saying you can't have your opinion. I'm not saying it's wrong to want Cody to win the title more than The Rock or Seth Rollins should main event on a one-on-one match, or we don't want a triple threat match. Regardless of the situation, I understand we all have perspectives, but can we have some common sense and not send death threats at The Rock's daughter because, oh, I'm not getting what I want? It's stupid. And we're better than that as wrestling fans, or at least I thought we were. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the shows who act like their shit don't stink. I'm tired of the podcasts that act like they're the smartest people in the room. Actually watch the show. How about stop letting every report that comes out of a wrestling website dictate your wrestling opinion? How about thinking for yourself for once? How about that for once? I'm not asking for much. How about some common sense here and some human decency? People are attacking content creators because they want to see The Rock and Roman Reigns. Who the hell do you people think you are? Go get yourself a 20-piece chicken McNugget and shut up. My guy Andrew Baydala checked in here. What's going on, my man? Hope you're doing well. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Drew. Drew is definitely, if I could count my hand of the few people that I respect within my own field, Drew's definitely very high at that list, man. Drew, I put out the link to recording link to the podcast if you want to share your thoughts in this whole situation. You could come out for a couple minutes, but the offer's out there too if you want to come and say hello and let me know what your thoughts about this whole situation. But I appreciate you checking out the show, and I appreciate all of you guys who are watching live. And please, if you can, press the like button. Subscribe to the podcast. We just passed over 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Right now, we're at 1,052,000 downloads on Spotify for podcasters, which is pretty dope. I am beyond grateful for the people who check out and rock with us each and every single week. And I did not want to start the show this way, but I've had it up to here with the nonsense. I really have. We're not doing anything to help the business grow. We're just not. And it's ridiculous. So Brett, what's going on, man? Thanks for chiming in here, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Brett Strubsel, thank you so much. I'm doing good, man. Outside this rant I just went on, I've been chilling and rock and rolling. Yeah, what's up, man?
Josh, I'm in the gym, the home gym. I figured I'd pop in here and say what's up. Always love your work. Yeah, tonight, it's what it's all about, right? The press conference, everyone's talking about it. WWE did their job, right?
Yep. Money.
Money. That's all it is. How's everything in your world, man? You good?
Very good, very good. Just been in this transition with my new apartment. I've been here since last June, I think, and I've lost over 90 pounds in the last 8 months. So I
Good for,
just been working on myself and kicking some ass.
good for you. No chicken McNuggets for you. I love it. I
No,
love it.
clanging and banging, and this water helps
There
too.
you go. I tried to warn everybody not to mess with DJ, man. I tried to warn everybody. Don't piss Dwayne off, and look what y'all did. You went after his daughter like a bunch of idiots. And now, Dwayne's gonna do what's right by the business. And Cody will get his moment, but again, like, what's bigger box office than this? I get it. People are upset. My 7-year-old son told me this morning, he goes, Dad, is Roman gonna face The Rock at WrestleMania? I said, I have no idea. He said, I think that would be pretty cool. And that's the biggest Cody fan in our household, is my
Right.
son.
Hey, not only that, think about this. The first time The Rock and Roman have like a promo segment with each other puts you any money that people put like the cinema meme on
Oh, for
Twitter.
sure. I mean, the impressions, everything is going to be through the roof. Your show, I just wanted to say, I always love what you do. I always catch it, whether it's live or whether I catch it the next day. But keep doing you and keep being true to yourself, buddy.
I appreciate that, brother. We got to catch up and do an actual
For
show
sure.
sometime soon. All right.
For sure. I'm going to get back to this workout. Take care,
All right,
buddy.
man. See ya. All right. That's my guy, Andrew Baydala. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Andrew Baydala. He's the man. Um, by the way, Drew has a show that he does with JD from New York. It's called TNT. I think they're also doing a live reaction to the press conference tonight. So go support JD and Drew and what they're doing. That's some good stuff. All right. This is it for the opening monologue. I do want to thank Drew for popping in really quick. I do have the recording link on my Twitter page if anybody wants to chime in and come say hello. It's an open door policy. It's kind of be the same thing with next week when we do episode 400. But for those who are watching live, want to say again thanks. And when we come back, I'll go more into the storyline stuff with this Rock, Cody, and Roman Reigns stuff. I got my rant out of the way. Let's talk some actual wrestling for once. And we'll do that with This Week in WWE. We'll be right back here on the Hoots Podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. By the way, I'm just really surprised where all this energy is heading towards The Rock now. Like, oh, Meltzer said this, that makes The Rock a politician. Rock didn't have to do this. The guy is restarting and has a merger with the XFL and USFL with the UFL, which I believe is starting soon, in a month and a half. Moana is coming out. He made a post about that. All this other ancillary projects that he's on. He didn't have to come back to wrestle at WrestleMania this year. But now we're going to disrespect one of the GOATs because, oh, my fantasy booking has to be right. Cody has to finish the story in Philly. Give me a break. Seriously, give me a break. Before I go into where I think things are going to go with the press conference night and all that jazz, I wanted to play a couple of clips of The Rock's appearance on the Pat McAfee show today, live from Radio Row. And I want to say... let's see what Brett here has to say real quick. Brett says, I'm excited for The Rock versus Roman because the way the story can go different directions with all the memories can get involved. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more on that. I wanted to play a couple of these clips here from Rock's appearance. And let's start off with this one, which is talking about, the promo that The Rock had at the Day One show. back in January, obviously on day one on Raw. And I'm going to play this in order. I think there's 4 clips here that I'm going to play, and then I'll get my thoughts on where things could go tonight in this press conference. And then we'll talk about everything else in between. So I want to give credit to the guys, Pat McAfee, the boys, and ESPN for this footage here. And let's start off with this first one. When it comes to The Rock's promo back from San Diego, where he's talking about being at the head of the table.
Congrats on everything. Obviously, incredibly busy. You're a board member now on like a Fortune 600. Let's go.
Come on now.
Let's go.
Boys.
You're a founder of UFL, one of the new spring leagues now, joining with USFL and the XFL. You're going there. Yep. And also, you're the biggest conversation in professional wrestling. How do you feel about the world right now? Feels like The Rock is on top, like you always have been, but it's very loud right now with you. Do you feel that? Do you sense that? And how do you feel about it all?
I feel it. I sense it. I feel it every day. I'd like to think, we try to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on, whether you're in entertainment or not, of just the stuff that's going on around you. There's been a lot of big developments, a lot of cool stuff that I've been lucky enough to experience these past couple of weeks. Member of the board of TKO, complete full ownership of the name The Rock, which is a bit, as you guys know, huge deal. And of course, asking the question now: if The Rock goes out to eat, does he sit in a booth?
No.
Does he sit at the bar?
No.
Nope. Or does The Rock sit at the head of the table?
Yeah. The place went crazy.
They went nuts. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And yes, of course, as what you're talking about in our world of professional wrestling, which we all love and enjoy, in our world of WWE, that's one of the best parts about it, is when you can anchor in to the passion of the fans.
All right, that was the first one there. Second one here, Rock talks about his training as far as getting back in the ring here and where things could go if this match is about to happen at WrestleMania, which I have no doubt at this point that it's going to happen.
A lot of people talking about you being back, especially for WrestleMania, part of this press conference.
Yeah.
You've always been in shape. So I think us as wrestling fans have never been like, well, The Rock's not in shape. That's why he's not coming back into the ring. Is it schedule? Is it a point of your life? Is it a reflection point where you're like, I need to go back home and prove some stuff to myself and to everything? Or why do you think now is the time to be back in wrestling as big as you are with the WWE?
A few things, though. You talk about getting in shape and ring shape. As you guys know, football players, like, man, it's whatever it is, the sport that you do it, you love it, you leave it. It's tough to come back to it, right? If you guys had to put the pads back on, lace the cleats up, put the helmet back on, and roll, it's tough to do. In the world of pro wrestling, I haven't done that in a very long time. So when I do go back to the ring at WrestleMania, the most important thing is a training camp, which has already started. I have multiple rings set up over in Hawaii. I have a ring set up on the West Coast, and we're full on in camp.
How do you feel?
Hurting. The body's hurting because it's hard. It's hard to adjust back. But in a way, it's like riding a bike. Like, I was very lucky in my career that I was somewhat of a ring general and knowing the ring and where to go and where to be at certain times when I needed to. But the training camp part of it is hard because you could work out on the weights. You could do all the stuff that you want to do. Mm-hmm. But until you go back in the ring and you take those falls, those slams, those suplexes, things like that, there's nothing like it.
I assume you're filming your entire training camp right now.
We're filming it, brother.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But by the way, to answer your question, it's an important one on why.
Yeah.
Why? Dude, I love it. And that's why I don't have to go back. I've been lucky enough to get to this point in my career. But I love what I do. I love getting in there, and I love pro wrestling. It's who I am. It's what I was born to do, and I was born in this business. But also, from the second that Roman Reigns years ago said, I'm the head of the table and I'm the head of this bloodline.
Greatest of all time.
That's when our story began. So it's converging now. It's converging to WrestleMania. I understand the passion, which we are going to address and we'll get to today. We could even get to right now. But at the end of the day.
Okay, let's talk about the.
All right, that's the second one there. Brett, to answer your question, yes, The Rock helped Roman get the title, win the Rumble back in Philly in 2015. Yes, that definitely happened. All right, that's the second one there. Let's go to the third one here, which released stuff that a lot of people have been sharing around today, and this is the first clip about the Cody situation, and let's hear the Rock's perspective here.
Okay, let's talk about the passion that has come from this D-Butt Attitude Era. Okay?
Yeah.
AJ,
Great.
Attitude Era. Con Man, a little bit later. Tone Diggs, Attitude Era, though. Okay? They're not the ones, though, that are filling the arenas right now, currently.
Right.
They're the ones that watch from outside.
Yeah.
And from being back in with Raw, it's like the arena, Cody wrote, let's go. This guy's put this company on his back. But from the people who've been watching wrestling for, like, let's say 20 years or whatever, it's like, wait a second, this is our generation's guy now coming. But you're representing, like, this feels like a generational conversation that's taking place between two iconic wrestling families. Obviously, the Rhodes family, and obviously your guys' bloodline is huge.
Yeah.
Did you expect the reaction to be what it was when we haven't even made anything official? Nothing's even been made official.
Nothing's official.
Nothing has been made official. Nothing has been deemed this or that, or a story isn't being in. But like, did you expect the reaction whenever you came back to be what it was, or was it kind of came out of nowhere?
With regards to WrestleMania, Rock and Roman together,
Yes, with Cody Rhodes,
with Cody here.
Yes,
I expected it. We expected it because it's right there. Again, you go back, and again, you like to think, hey, I got my finger on the pulse. We all try to keep the finger on the pulse, ultimately what the fans want and what they're saying. And oftentimes, as you guys know, in sports and entertainment and anywhere, regardless of the vertical of business you're in, there's a wave of noise that happens right out of the gate.
Immediate.
That you want to just pause for a second. Let's not make any rash decisions. Let's wait and see how it all shakes out and see what happens from there. So it was just a matter of waiting. So now I was not surprised at it. I did expect it. But here's the fun part about this is you have, and by the way, I've known Cody for a long time. He's a buddy of mine. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and my old man, Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, they were boys. They tag teamed together down in Florida. We used to go over to the Rhodes house a lot all the time when I was growing up. And so we're tight in that way.
All right, let's get to the main one here. This one's been going viral today, but so everybody out there going crazy and trying to see like they could talk over The Rock, and they have one over him. You got sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, in life you got to learn things the hard way. Let The Rock handle the rest here.
I love Cody. I love his passionate fans. Then there's the other passionate fans of Cody.
Yep.
And they're called the what's that? Oh, Cody Crybabies. Yeah. That's what they're called.
Okay, all right. Okay, got it. I didn't know the name that was coming.
It was the Cody Crybabies, and these are grown-ass men. And Cody gotta finish his story. He has to finish his story right now. It's like, wait a second, hold on. Hey, Dad, you want to go outside and play catch with me? Not now. Cody's gotta finish, and I'm upset. The wife comes in. Hey, honey, do you want to go have sex? Not now. Cody's gotta finish his story. At the end of the day, look, you got the Cody Crybabies and you have the Cody fans, and you have Cody himself, and there's a clear distinction between the three. But The Rock says this: those Cody Crybabies, the ones for every 10 tweets, they're shoving a chicken McNugget in their mouth. For every 20 tweets, they're shoving 2 McNuggets up their ass.
What?
The Rock says this: all you got to do is sit back, know your role, shut your mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is going to take your candy asses on. So hashtag that. Hashtag shut your bitch asses up. Hashtag Cody Crybabies.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, I could just stop the segment there and let The Rock just say everything I was going to say, but like, again, nothing has been made official. What are we doing here? I would love to see Cody finish his story at WrestleMania just like everybody else. And I know we could do the 2020 hindsight thing that Cody should have won at last year's WrestleMania. He did it. And in fact, here we are. People still talk about this decision almost a year later. Tells you that the right decision was made. Now, here we are with this decision that's not made official. Things can change. You have a lot of different options. Some people are for, maybe doing Rocky Roman on night 1 and doing Rocky and Cody. Roman and Cody on night 2. There's been pushback on that end too, which I understand. This is not Wrestle Kingdom where we have the double gold dash, which is kind of all over the place with Jay White, where he had basically 2 matches on both nights of Wrestle Kingdom. But then you have the so typical, oh, we didn't get the way we wanted for the road to WrestleMania, so let's just make a triple threat match. By the way, I was in Tampa Bay with Drew. We were watching the show together, and that was a main event of WrestleMania that was supposed to be Roman Reigns and Edge. And then out of nowhere, we had this another wave of, oh, Daniel Bryan is not taken care of. They don't care about him. His booking is horrible. And then we had this sympathy thing where Daniel Bryan now gets thrown into that match. Awesome match. Saw it there in person. Got the nice visual with Roman stacking Bryan and Edge on top of each other. But if you asked me back then in 2021, I would have said keep it for what it was with Roman and Edge. If you ask me now, I'd probably say the same thing. Keep it Roman versus Cody. But also knowing myself as a longtime wrestling fan and understanding good business and understanding what's also going to draw some eyeballs is why would I ever scoff at the idea of The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Whether it's this year or next year or a match at SummerSlam or wherever, why would I scoff at that? And nothing's been made official. We don't even know if that match is going to be for the championship or not. What happens tonight if Cody had a conversation with everybody? Nick Aldis was a part of it, Adam Pearce, Triple H, The Rock. We had the idea. Roman, you're not advertised to be at Elimination Chamber. You claim to be the champion, but you never want to defend your title. What if that's the swerve? What if Cody fights Roman for the championship at the Elimination Chamber and you have that match there? It's an idea. I'm not saying that's something that I'm going to do, but it's out there. Is there a possibility that Drew McIntyre could come out and disrupt things? Sure. And I wouldn't mind that either because Drew McIntyre is doing the best work of his career right now. And that throws out scenario that maybe it's Seth, Cody, and Drew McIntyre for the championship. Look, I know things were going to go in a different direction once CM Punk got injured. And that bugged me out as much as anybody. You guys know how much of a CM Punk guy I am. Hated seeing that news about him tearing his tricep. WrestleMania 40 is going to be special. You're celebrating 40 years of WrestleMania. To say The Rock doesn't belong there, The Rock shouldn't have a match in Philadelphia, this shouldn't happen, oh, they're not listening to fans, oh, it's all WrestleMania 30 all over again. I'm not buying that, and I don't have sympathy for people who are whining and moaning in that manner either. I just don't. Because you're the same people that are going to be watching it. Put your money where your mouth is. Same thing applies with this press conference tonight. I know there's select members of the wrestling media that are going to be there, especially the content creators that were practically throwing arrows at The Rock for the human being he is and calling him a politician, and then other people out there who are, going after his daughter. Keep the same energy. That was just a little taste of what we could see tonight with this press conference from The Rock. He's not taking any prisoners, and honestly, I do not blame him with the nonsense that's been thrown at his direction since this past Friday's SmackDown. I ain't even had a chance to talk about that segment yet because that segment as a whole was awesome. And by the way, all of this vitriol has come from social media. That live crowd in Birmingham were on their feet. They're chanting, "This is awesome. Holy shit." All these different chants. What I care about is what the live audience says. I don't care about whining and moaning and bitching on Twitter about what made sense booking wise in this sense or that sense, because we're just going to be ending up talking in circles and there's no substance to it. So is it a possibility that Cody Rhodes could, finish his story at Madison Square Garden where all this started in the first place? Absolutely. And that'd be a special moment too. I never been to New York before, but even I would go out to New York and go to Madison Square Garden to see that moment in person. That would be history. I would love to see that. I said this before the calendar year. Cody Rhodes does not have to finish his story in Philadelphia just because of what happened last year. I'm not here to come out here and say, oh, Roman should keep his title because he needs to break Hulk Hogan's record. Screw Hulk Hogan. I don't care about that conversation. And it's not breaking Hulk Hogan's record because Roman would practically be in third place as far as long-time reigning WWE champions. What I am going to say is that if you look at what happened with Roman on Friday and the energy he was giving out to Seth Rollins, and then the stuff with Cody, and then Seth Rollins trying to get in Cody's head about, maybe you should, fight for the world championship. Then we got Cody, right? And The Rock. Do you do a four-way? Throwing it out there. Do you do a four-way match? Rock doesn't have to do much. You're kind of protecting Seth Rollins in their own way. And you can still have Cody get the pin over Roman. That's an idea. There's a lot of different scenarios here, and I don't think one's right from the other. I'm as curious as just as anybody else is as far as where this is going to go tonight. I think that we're in for some petty comments, especially knowing that the Tribal Chief's there. He's the king of all petty people. That promo he cut towards Seth Rollins on Friday was just tremendous. I kind of felt that'd be something that I would say to somebody that was trying to get one up on me or trying to question my worth ethic or my values to the company because I'm not doing it on your terms and how you want to go about your business. I felt that energy from Roman Reigns. I also felt the energy from that Twitter video that was posted last night of The Rock arriving to the Las Vegas airport and talk about being a long gamer. And, and the clip we played here with Pat McAfee with the Cody Crybabies. I love the hashtag. Shut your bitch asses up. That's the side I'm on. I'm not anti-Cody. I'm not anti-Rock. Hell, I'm not even anti-Roman. What I am anti is why whining and bitching on Twitter and trying to force wrestling companies to placate to the smallest common denominator of the wrestling audience. That's what I'm against. I've been that way since day one, and I'm not changing. I would just appreciate that we don't carry ourselves in a jackassing manner when it comes to this stuff, because either way, like I told Drew, don't sit here and lie to me that Roman and Rock can have a good build to the match, whether it's at 40 or 41 or wherever how the scenario is going to play out. But also don't disregard Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Don't say that's a demotion. That's a slap in the face to Seth Rollins. It's a slap in the face to Cody. Yeah, I get it. Cody won the Rumble. He should get to choose who he wants to fight at WrestleMania. And guess what? Maybe that happens. Maybe everybody gets what they want. But I think we need to be better as a collective wrestling audience when it comes to this whole situation. It's really brought out the worst in a lot of people. And I understand that, fantasy booking and having conversations and debates about it is good for the industry at times. But I also think that we need to be very cognizant of the stuff that's coming out of our mouth and not just saying shit just to say shit or just to say stuff just to get clicks and stuff like that. We're not doing anything. We're not helping the wrestling fan base in that manner. We're just not. So, you guys want my thoughts on the whole situation? I'll leave it at that. The Rock didn't have to come to do this. The Rock didn't have to be part of WrestleMania if he didn't want to. I am not going to be somebody. I don't care how much big of a Cody Rhodes fan that I am. I would not go out of my way to disrespect one of the greatest performers in the history of the professional wrestling industry. And the guy has done as much for this industry outside of the ring as John Cena, as The Rock did. You don't hear him in scandals. He's not a bad human being. I'm not going to come here and disrespect one of the goats because, oh, my fantasy booking scenario didn't go the way I wanted to. That's ridiculous. And it's really, really lame. And I thought we were better than that, but we're not any better than we were this time in 2014. So, that's that. A couple other things I wanted to mention really quick that stood out to me from programming this week, because I do want to talk a little bit about Vengeance Day as well. Going back to SmackDown, the promo with Logan and Kevin Owens I thought was pretty good. Him and Austin Theory always has good matches, so I wasn't really surprised there. The four-way match, they had this scenario where both on Raw and SmackDown, they had two Fatal four-way qualifying matches. So you had one side was on the SmackDown. They faced the winner of the Raw four-way, and now tomorrow on SmackDown we'll have DIY against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate of British Strong Style. That match is going to be insane. The matches that I got to cover this week on both Raw and SmackDown for those four-ways were a lot of fun. I always say that nobody does multi-person matches better than WWE. I'd probably say New Japan is a close second. But the four-way tags were cool. I really enjoyed it. Brett says Mello versus Trick for Stand and Deliver. Yes, that's definitely going to happen. I don't know if that's going to be like a no DQ scenario or something like that, Brett, but we'll have to see how that plays out for sure. Let's see what else here we got. Love seeing Tiffany Stratton on my screen. She's going to be a big-time player, and I think that she overstayed her welcome in NXT. It's time for her to start doing her stuff, and I know they're going to start implementing Braun Breakers soon. Carmelo Hayes is probably going to be a factor, too, once this feud with Trick Williams is over. But nice emphasis on the younger talent, and these are big-time players. Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Carmelo Hayes. You got some big-time players that can bring in some money if given the right opportunity and presented in the right point of view, So that was my thoughts on that. Outside of that main event segment, which everybody was talking about, my favorite part for SmackDown this past Friday was the Bayley segment with Damage Control. You talk about like long-term storytelling and waiting for those right moments where you could anticipate something happening, but I just thought the build-up of that promo and how it got to the point where she like flipped the script on them and noticing that they're kind of treating her like we're in high school and like tee-heeing and talking smack to what was supposed to be your friend and your sister in your own group, and you're talking behind her back, pretend that she's not paying attention, and then she uses the line wherever she said in Japanese, and I just really enjoyed how that played out, because I know a lot of people have said since Damage Control became a thing that this idea has been a flop and that it hasn't done anything for Bayley. I think that segment on Friday told you otherwise. That match is going to be good. People are invested to it. Do we see the wavy balloon guys that you see at these car wash places and stuff like that? I don't know. Maybe that comes back. Maybe she's a hugger. I threw out the idea to Tony the other day that like, hey, maybe you do, the match Bayley wins the title, but her first hug is to Michael Cole. I think that'd be pretty cool. Kind of a full circle thing because when she was a heel, when she first started being a heel, that he was the first person she targeted, and here we are, almost 4 years later. Now she's about to go back to being a baby face, and now she can give Michael Cole a hug. It'll get a big pop out of everybody. I think that'd be a nice little full circle moment for Bayley, and good for her. I've been happy for her success. People are invested in what she's doing now, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff in this WrestleMania card. I just don't want this whole situation with The Rock and Cody and Roman to cloud what all the fun other stuff that we've been seeing on both Raw and SmackDown each week, because that's just not fair to the performers. It's just not. Yes, yep, exactly, Brett. That was booked the same way for Evolution. Yep, that's exactly how it went. Let's continue on here. Let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw for this past Monday in St. Louis. Drew McIntyre, man, I could probably do a full separate video, I guess, on how good Drew McIntyre has been on TV recently, but that man is a menace, and he must be stopped. His social media game is on another level. Honestly, I think at this point, Drew McIntyre may rival Dave Chappelle for biggest player hater on God's green earth. My God, he's taking on prisoners, man. I love it. There's a lot of scenarios to see how this situation goes with Seth Rollins, and if Cody does decide to go after Roman and everybody gets what they want, where does that leave the World Heavyweight Championship? You put that in the Elimination Chamber. Obviously, that would show that Drew McIntyre would win that match and fight Seth Rollins for the title. Okay, Drew wins the title in front of live fans. Seth gets to go off and heal and recover from his injuries. And then Damian Priest comes in and cashes in his briefcase. There you go. There's a little fancy booking here. No harm, no foul there. I'm not saying that it will happen. That's something that I would like to see happen. But I just gotta give a lot of credit to Drew because, in my opinion, I think Drew's been the MVP of WWE programming so far in 2024. And he, just as much as anybody, deserves a world title shot at WrestleMania. And I truly believe that. So that was that. Really enjoyed the match with Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. That was the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I thought it was a very good match. They gave them a lot of time. I mentioned the four-way match was pretty dope for the tag. I want to throw this question out to everybody that's watching this. I want you guys to hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. Let me know. Would you like to see Dominic Mysterio versus R-Truth in a singles match at WrestleMania this year? I'm throwing it out there because I really think that match could really resonate with a WrestleMania crowd. And it doesn't have to be this 20-minute Matt Classic. You're obviously not doing a rematch with Dominic and Ray. I don't believe. I think Ray would try to go after Santos Escobar whenever he does come back from injury. But as far as Dominic is concerned, him and R-Truth and just the way things have been going on with the Judgment Day, why not do that at WrestleMania? Maybe you do it at Elimination Chamber. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud here and trying to come up with different ideas. I do believe that you could do R-Truth and Dominic Mysterio, not my cousin Dominic, by the way, shout out to him. Dominic Mysterio and R-Truth. I think it would be pretty cool, but that's just my opinion. We'll see what else stood out here from Raw. Give me 1 second. Oh, be remiss without mentioning this. Gunther and Jey Uso segment, the 600-day championship celebration for the Ring Gadada. I thought it was a cool segment. Gunther is very good on the microphone. In my opinion, I think Gunther right now is the best wrestler in the world. I I think pound per pound, I think Gunther is the best professional wrestler in the world right now. Um, the promos are good. He's the whole package. You have believability. The promos are good. The ring work speaks for itself. You know, there's no flaws in Gunther's game, and him and Jey Uso are gonna have a very good match for the IC title at Elimination Chamber, most likely. Probably there. That's where Jimmy Uso will cost Jay the match because Jimmy Uso is also a player hater. Actually, he's a family hater. But yeah, I enjoyed that segment. Yeah, the ring getter, and then you got Jey Uso and all the yeets. Yeet, yeet, no yeet. Brett here says, I think it's Austin Truth versus Judgment Day for the tag titles. That may be a possibility. That could be a possibility, Brett. We'll have to see how that one plays out. But outside of that, that's just pretty much the stuff that stood out the most to me for Raw this week. I think SmackDown overall was a better show than Raw this week, but some good stuff that's not Roman, Cody, Seth, The Rock related. Last thing I wanted to mention here before we go into our next segment here, I want to talk a little bit about the Vengeance Day pay-per-view that I got covered this past Sunday from Clarksville, Tennessee. It's been a very busy week for me, kind of draining in a little way, you know, not like emotionally or spiritually or anything like that. It's just been a very very busy week for me, and Vengeance Day was on Sunday. I really enjoyed the show. They had a bookend segment of how the show kicked off with the finals of the Dusty Cup. Congratulations go out to Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, the Wolf Dogs being the victors in that tournament. Very good match to kick off the show. And then, Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov put on a barn burner in the main event. And we saw the heel turn of Carmelo Hayes. He's the man that he's the guy that attacked Trick Williams all those months ago. I take some water there real quick. Yeah, Melo's the guy that attacked Trick all those months ago. It comes full circle. There's another guy, hating on somebody else's success. Melo's promo on NXT was pretty good. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go see it for yourself. What else I was going to say here? Really enjoyed the match with Dijak and Joe Gacy, the no DQ match. Very, very physical. There's not a bad... Dijak just doesn't have bad matches. You could call him Mr. PLE. You could call him whatever you want. But Dijak is one of one, if you know what I mean. Let me just say, Dijak and Dragunov from NXT this week was a pretty good match too, so you guys want to check that out. The family against OTM, the six-person mixed tag match. I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad or anything, but this more of a match that I probably would have waited for on TV than on PLE. What else? Oh, how I forget this. Live Valkyria against Roxanne Perez. Dope match. It ended up turning into a three-way because Lola Vice decided to cash in her NXT Breakout tournament contract, and she was in a losing effort as Live Valkyria retained over Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice. That was a very good match. You guys should go check that out. And then big shout out to Obafemi. I'm very impressed. I'm not gonna lie, man. Nobody's expecting them to be Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart in the ring, but I thought he looked very good. Dragon Lee helped him look good as well. Obafemi's going to be a big time player as he gets better with each match, and the presence is there. He has the presence, the size, the power, everything in between. It seems like the crowd in NXT is digging his work so far. So I'm happy for Obafemi. He's doing some good work, and that's one of those guys that are coming off the NIL contracts and stuff like that. These like college athletes, and that's a cool little story for him because a lot of people say that the Performance Center doesn't generate any new homegrown stars. I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment, but that's neither here or there. Overall, I enjoyed Vengeance Day. If I had to give it a grade, I'd probably give it like a B plus. But it was an enjoyable show and a fun pay-per-view to cover on Sunday, nonetheless. But on that note, folks, that is what happened this week in WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a seat, take a step back, rock and roll with us. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for another edition of something that we like to call here on the Hoots Podcast, a segment loved and effectively known as What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? Let's start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat, 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Alright, guys. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened. Excuse me. Time to talk about what the hell is wrong with AEW, aka what is wrong with AEW. When I think about what I saw this past Wednesday night on TBS, what I watched last night as I'm recording this, from, I think the show was in Phoenix last night, right? Not too shabby. In a little shot for you guys this week. I enjoyed Dynamite for the most part. I thought there were some good matches. Swerve and Hangman was a very good match. Enjoyed the match with Tony Storm and Red Velvet. Obviously, they're hyping up Tony's next challenger, which will be Deonna Purrazzo. They'll be fighting each other at Revolution. Sting became the new AEW World Tag Team Champions with Darby Allin. I mean, Ray Charles saw that coming from the grave. Kanelson Takeshita made Chris Jericho tap out. I was not expecting that. Very physical match, but I'll get into that in just a couple of seconds. Overall, like I enjoyed Dynamite. It's definitely been better than the last couple of episodes that we have had to sit through. But I don't know. I'm just having this feeling where there's not enough stuff that AEW is dishing out right now that's like grabbing me or pulling me in. Like, yeah, Hangman and Swerve had a dope match. When haven't they had a dope match, you know? It ended up being a draw because the time limit expired. Now it's going to be a triple threat match for the AEW World title at Revolution. It's gonna be a good match. Samoa Joe coming to a good promo backstage with Renee. I think it'll be a fun physical match, but I wouldn't go into that show getting your hopes up that Swerve Strickland is just gonna become the AEW champion off the bat like that. I don't see that happening, to be honest with you. It can happen at Double or Nothing. I think Swerve sooner or later will be an AEW champion, and rightfully so, and well deserved. So, but I just think right now it'd be a little early to take the title off Samoa Joe, and I just wouldn't do it at that time. But we're kind of in this malaise because we still got, I think, another 3 or 4 weeks left before we get to Revolution, and it's just the waiting game. What else am I gonna watch? I know that Sting's gonna have his last match, and they're gonna fight the Young Bucks and stuff like that. But I don't know about the rest of this card. Like we had a conversation with Tony on Saturday, and I'm like, this whole stuff with the Don Callis family and Chris Jericho stuff, I just don't care about it. I really don't. Like, yeah, we'll bring Will Ospreay in, and we'll have another Jericho Ospreay match. I just don't feel that Will Ospreay needs to be Don Callis's henchman. I don't know. I think Will could do things on his own accord, and he doesn't really need a mouthpiece, I guess, more or less is what I'm trying to say. But just looking at that situation, is Jericho and Don Callis feuding with each other? Great. It's just there. What's going on with Adam Copeland? I know I haven't been watching Collision as much, but what's going on with Edge? I haven't really had a chance to see him on TV recently. I know they had the match at World's End at Nassau Coliseum, and that was pretty cool. But Edge and AEW has been a miss so far for me. I'm not gonna lie. Them like throwing in Nick Wayne's mom into the situation was just weird, and I don't know. It's not clicking with me so far, man. I hope he's happy doing what he wants to do there. That's always been the thing with me when it comes to Edge in AEW. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far. It's just there for me, Let's get to on here with the show. What else did I forget to mention? Oh, yeah. Right. Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong for the International Championship. Whoopity-doo. I do want to give a shout out to Eddie Kingston because I did get to see the promo he cut on Collision on Twitter the other day. I thought that was very good, so I just want to give a shout out to Eddie. Yeah, it's just really there last night. It's not really much for me to write home about with Dynamite last night. I thought, TK having this announcement of this big business show at the TD Garden in Boston coming up on March 13th. I think everybody and their mother knows what's going on there. Look, I'm not going to come in here and say that Mercedes Moné will not be a positive addition to AEW. This thing has been talked about for almost a year now. If we think about it now, almost a year and a half of her going and joining AEW. I just don't know whether or not she's going to have the impact that a lot of people are expecting. And, I guess in Tony Khan's eyes, it's a big announcement because that's his favorite thing. That's his go-to, where he has to bring in somebody for WWE just to continue the buzz of the promotion. And it's just like, what about the rest of your show? Like, okay, she'll come in. Is she going to be a ratings booster? Probably not. Is she going to help Dynamite and Collision have better ticket sales? Probably not. Will she add new eyeballs to the product? Maybe. Periodically. Is she going to be a week-to-week performer? Is she going to be on every week? Are they going to use her as an attraction? I have these questions And I'm not saying that it can't work because AEW does have a good women's roster. There are very talented people there. But I don't think that Mercedes Moné is going to have the impact that a lot of people are expecting it. Yeah, you might get some buzz, maybe you get a couple dream matches here and there, but it's just like anybody else that comes from WWE to AEW. The hype and hysteria attached to it has the expiration date. And that's really what it is. It's an expiration date. It's kind of like a free agent in the NFL. Very few and far between where you find an NFL free agent, which is kind of like a franchise changer with your promotion. You know, more times than not, you have a free agent. Maybe they do good their first or second season, and then you probably want to get rid of their contract by the third or second. Or sometimes if you play for the Chicago Bears, if you sign a free agent, oh, they got to get released that same offseason, you know? I'm not trying to come here and poo-poo on anybody's party. I've mentioned before that I respect Mercedes Moné as a person and as a performer. I do think that her fans overrate her at times. But I'm not going to take away from the talent and passion that she has from the wrestling industry, and I hope it works out for her. But to look at this from a face-to-face value here, I don't know really what to say. It's just kind of like a shoulder shrug. Like I knew it was gonna come. I knew it was happening. And you know, a lot of people have been arguing with a lot of the reporters of whether or not she was going there or not. Like I'm just kind of like tired of the Mercedes Moné topic with her going to AEW. It's just time for her to show up, and we'll see what she really brings to the table with AEW when that time comes. I want to say this, and I appreciate the fact that AEW does put a spotlight on other promotions and stuff like that, but if you ask my opinion, and I know that Bryan Danielson and Hichiro had a barn burner of a match on Collision. I guess Collision was a really good show this past Saturday night. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I could give zero fucks about the Blackpool Cuckold Club against CMLL. I just don't care. I really don't. It's just there for me. I don't enjoy it. It's useless matches. I think that match, that trios match last night on Dynamite, almost went 20 minutes. Like, what are we doing here? And then it's so goofy. They had the other CMLL guys hop the barricade. Out comes Matt Menard. Out comes Cool Hand Edge. Here comes Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. So it's basically CMLL against guys from Shikara and Jon Moxley. That doesn't get more inside baseball than I don't know what else to tell you, man. That's some top tier like wrestling nerdom right there. That I were able to point that out. I know what you're trying to do, but I don't know if half the viewing audience even knew that Shikara was a promotion or what Shikara actually is. I know Bryce Renzer is the referee from Shikara. He was a former guest on one of my shows in the past. But you know, I just really don't care about the Blackpool Cuckold Club against CMLL. I just don't. It's just there for me. How you doing? Keep it moving. Like, I just really do not care. But on that note, let's do the Excrement impression before we get to our main event segment and do all the rest of this stuff here. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Coming to live tomorrow night on TNT, it's another stellar edition of AEW Rampage. Here are your matches. First, we have the Young Bucks in action. From there, we have a singles match featuring Matt Sydal and Mystical. We have women's tag team action as Will Nightingale and Chris Statler taking on the team of Saraya and Ruby Soho. And the main event, it's a trios match pitting the Undisputed Kingdom against Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Marrero. More matches for Collision to be announced. Make sure to follow Tony Khan on Twitter at Tony Khan. Get all your AEW tickets right now at AWTIX.com. Repeat, that's AWTIX.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I pose the question each and every week. You guys let me know. I was a little more positive this week, but I still want to know. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to know. I need to know the great Mark Anthony, not Mark Henry. All right, seriously, what the hell's wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more segment to do here on the podcast before we get into our main event segment. It's going to be very brief because I don't want to make this to be too long here. But we're going to be doing the CLAHN of the Week plus my Super Bowl 58 preview and prediction coming up this Sunday in Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys excited for the Super Bowl? I don't know about you guys. I'm not feeling the buzz for the Super Bowl so far. It's also kind of telling the week I've kind of had, but that's neither here or there. So we got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday with the Chiefs and 49ers. But first, before we get to that, let's crown a brand new winner. A segment that we started a while back, a segment that was founded by the good brother Sam Piopo as Second City Sam. As you guys are familiar with the podcast, we give out awards to the biggest Nimrods of the week, as we like to call it affectionately, the CLAHN of the week.
I'm not CLAHN. You're big CLAHN.
One more time for good measure.
I'm not CLAHN. You're big CLAHN.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week's CLAHN of the Week goes to the Chicago Bulls. I know, I guess today was the NBA trade deadline, and much to the surprise of absolutely nobody, the Bulls traded nobody or traded to help the team. As David Kaplan would like to say, the Bulls are a bunch of settlers, and we need a better front office. And at this point, even with my White Sox, it's time for new ownership. Sell the team. We the stinks. The Bulls suck. Blow the team up. Turn United Center into a parking lot. I don't know what else to say at this point. They're so content with being mediocre. It's just flat out embarrassing. So, Chicago Bulls, you are the CLAHN of the Week this week for the Hoots Podcast. I'm very excited for Usher's Super Bowl halftime performance. Always been a big fan of Usher. Being a kid of the late 90s and early 2000s, they played nothing but Usher. I remember I was 7 years old when the Confession. No, not 7. No. I was 11 when the Confessions album came out in 2005, and I've always been a fan of Usher. Happy for his success, and I think he's gonna kill it on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. But as far as the game is concerned, I really don't have much to say because I'm not really a fan of either team. Obviously, the whole Taylor Swift scenario is added to this situation, and good for her and her relationship. I really don't care about that. Do what you got to do with that stuff. But I think for me, I'm only going with the Chiefs because the 49ers barely beat the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. I think it'd be probably a close game, but until proven otherwise, I'm just going to go with the Chiefs. Their defense is good. I think the Chiefs defense is better than the 49ers offense. I know that San Francisco has a good defense as well, but really, it's on the hands of Brock Purdy in this one, and I think the stage is probably going to be too big for him. So I'm going with I'm going with the Chiefs to defeat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs will be your Super Bowl champions. But I hope everybody enjoys the game this weekend, and let me know on Twitter who you guys go for the game on Sunday. But on that note, we got one more segment to do here on the penultimate episode of the Hoots Podcast. Don't forget, episode 400 dropping this time next week. We'll be recording that show for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But when we come back, it'll be time to answer your questions as we take a trip down to the back porch as we do the back porch Q&A session right here on episode 399 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. All right, guys, one more segment to do here in the podcast of Hoots. That is the Back Porch Q&A session. Let's take a trip through some questions. I only got questions this week from the good brother Chris Aletta at XCLetta24X on Twitter. I want to get a shout for Chris for always being a good brother and contributing with us in the podcast. All right, let's take this hat off. All right, this will be the last segment that we'll do here, and then episode 400 is next. Let's see what Chris has to ask us. By the way, if anybody that's watching live, if you want to ask me questions, you can ask me questions as well, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, here we go. Here's a question for the Q&A this week. Should Adam be the one to take the TNT title off of Christian, or should there be someone else that does that before they have their blow-off match? That's a good question there. If it was to me, I would have Daniel Garcia take the TNT title off of Christian. Have like Adam Copeland endorse Daniel Garcia, and I think that'd be a nice like little moment for him. So let's take some water real quick. I'm gonna go with Daniel Garcia to be the guy to take the TNT title off of Christian. I don't think Edge needs it, to be honest with you. But that's how I would do it. But that's just me. All right, let's continue on here. Next question. What do you expect out of the press conference today? Well, like I was saying earlier, I expect pettiness. I expect the Rock to own some jabronis in the crowd. They're going to try to heckle him, and it's not going to end well for them. I'm just going to say that. Don't be surprised if the Rock says that he gets more pie than those people get in a lifetime. Thoughts on Scott D'Amore? How bad did Anthem drop the ball? How bad did this hurt the little momentum TNA had? I did see that. That was a big news story mixing between all this Rock, Cody, and Roman nonsense. I don't know what Anthem is thinking here. I really don't. I have a lot of respect for what Scott D'Amore was trying to do with Impact, and they were having good momentum, and it's just a shame, man. I just wish that the owners of Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it, had the best interests of TNA. And it doesn't matter what the regime is. It's always about something that's not important, or, DC Carter's family doesn't want to give the money that's needed to help TNA grow. And then you have Anthem in this situation here. I think they're content with letting Impact be where they are, and they don't want it to grow. It's kind of similar to Ring of Honor with the Sinclair Broadcasting Group. They're just very content with what they get numbers-wise, and then they just leave it at that. But I think it's unfortunate. I really do. I'm bummed out for Scott D'Amore. He put his heart and soul into that promotion, and he deserves a lot of respect, man. Does Scott D'Amore end up in WWE? Possibly. I'm not really sure yet. It depends on what he wants to do, but I don't see a scenario why he wouldn't be able to work there. Does Sami Zayn have a case of being involved in the World Heavyweight title mix for Mania, seeing that there's unfinished business with Drew, who's probably the top contender? Possibly. Who knows? Maybe that's a four-way match where it's Cody, Seth, Drew, and Sammy. You can do it that way. Or maybe it's Seth and Sammy. Maybe you have Drew and Sammy in a one more like grudge feud type of match, and you do it from there. There's so many different scenarios that you can do with the World Heavyweight Championship, but I do believe Sami Zayn does belong in that mix. I do believe that. With Cliff Kingsbury in Washington, do they jump ahead for Caleb Williams? You know what, Chris? Why not? Why not? We don't need another LeVar Ball situation here. We do not need to worry about what Caleb Williams' dad thinks or wants. I really could give two shits, to be honest with you. If he doesn't want to play for the Bears, he shouldn't be here. And I'd rather have somebody who wants to be here like Justin Fields than Caleb Williams trying to pull an Eli Manning on us. So they could go to Washington and be the Commanders that they've always been. Who's the new Three Faces of Fear coming to NXT? I got no idea. I really don't. I'm not trying to brush off your question, Chris, but I have no idea. Maybe Nakajima from Noah. I have no idea. It would be funny, though, if it was Okada, though. I will say that. Over and under drama on the ladies' locker room side of the... hold up. Over/under a drama in the ladies' side of the locker room in AEW that takes place in the upcoming months. I guess is a reference to Mercedes Moné. We'll have to see. I say pay close attention from stuff that Sean Ross Sapp puts out. I definitely would love to know what Athena thinks about this. She's only relegated to Ring of Honor and she's never on Dynamite anymore. How does she feel about Mercedes coming in and taking her spotlight and her opportunity? I would love to see her response to that. Over and under, I give it 5 to 6 months. I'm sure something will pop off with her and Britt Baker, like it always does in AEW. But that's my answer for that question. And the final one we'll do here today for the podcast this week is you and I have changed our tunes on Tony Storm and the Acclaim. Can the same be said about Daniel Garcia? Yes. I am not a wrestling fan that's unwilling to change my mind or admit that I'm wrong and have the wrong perspective on a performer. I think he's a good wrestler. I did not like the stuff with the JAS. I'm not for the dumb dance that he does, but he's a very talented performer, and I want him to succeed, and he seems like a cool dude. And none of the criticisms I've ever had of any of the talents for AEW have been personal. None of them. I have a lot of respect for what these men and women do to put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. Just like any other fan, there's stuff that I like and stuff that I don't like. I also don't have sympathy for people who run to the dirt sheets for sympathy for their booking. I don't think that applies to Daniel Garcia in this case, but just in general, I just don't support that type of stuff. But I changed my tune and I admit I was wrong about the Acclaim. I done the same here with Tony Storm. And I don't see a scenario why I wouldn't be able to endorse Daniel Garcia. But, Chris, I want to thank you for the questions this week, brother. I appreciate you. And I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me today, guys. This is a more abbreviated edition of the Hoots Podcast. But next week is going to be very special. We're going to be celebrating episode 400. I'm very excited, man. I'm very blessed, honored, and humbled for the fact that we got to this mark here. And it's thanks to each and every single one of you. I just want to take some time here to just say thank you guys for never giving up on me. And, sometimes people only look at your value through one lens and try to put you in boxes and stuff like that. But I think you guys always accepted me for me and what I bring to the table here. And I just want to say thank you for that. I really do. This has been a blessing in my life to have this podcast and come on here and interact with you guys and give you my perspective on wrestling, even if you agree or disagree with my takes. But I wear my heart on my sleeve. Very proud of the stuff that we've been able to accomplish with this show. And next week, it's going to be a little different vibe than it was for episode 300. I've already told you guys that we're going to be continuing on with this. We'll go to episode 500 and see where things are from there. But we're not done yet. We still got a lot of stuff to accomplish here, and your guys' listenership and feedback and the stuff you guys have been doing for the last 3 to 4 months is the reason why we're continuing on here. And next week is going to be a celebration. I hope that we could have Brother Carter here, have some more good brothers here on episode 400, but we did it, guys. We made it. We did it. This podcast has now made it not only past 1 million downloads, but this podcast is now officially got to 400 episodes. I want to thank my buddy Andrew Baydala for coming on today and shooting the shit with me. Make sure to support his work. He's very, very talented at what he does. And maybe we could do a bonus podcast down the road with Drew and have him on the podcast, and that'd be a lot of fun. I just want to say, remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But this time next week, we'll celebrate episode 400 of the Hoots Podcast. Don't forget, guys, if you want to send audio shout-outs, please send them in an MP3 file to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our podcast here on YouTube. Make sure you press the bell notification so you never miss out on an episode or any new videos that are uploaded to the channel. You could follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast. Hit me up at Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Make sure to follow all my play-by-play transcripts on WrestlingHeadlines.com. And have a wonderful week, everybody. I love y'all. Those deadlines for the shout-outs and stuff like that will probably be the Wednesday before episode 400, so it'll be February 14th. But all that being said, we'll be here next week right around 7 or 8 p.m. Central with episode 400 of the Hoots Podcast. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Yeet.